Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's casual with Essence of the Moon, Celina. Her links are in the description. Please do all of the YouTube-y things. I'm Tarot Stash, your host. Thanks for joining us. Therein ends my deep voice, all that stuff. So, Celina, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. And again, I love your energy when I'm watching your show, especially with Linda. So
Well,
it's
thank you.
always fun. And then we had you on our show, Behind the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And that was phenomenal. That hashtag VR that you created. Have you done a video on that yet or no?
I haven't. I really need to do that because I was so excited to be able to share that with you and Bobby.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, let's do this. And I guess I should get my in gear and make that happen.
Yeah, because I want to play along and actually do like a VR video to that. So that was fun. We had such a great time with you on there. So thank you.
We did. It was great. It was an honor to be invited. I am always a person who, when the schedule permits and I can be a guest on a show, I enjoy that. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
It's a lot of fun. So today, this is a casual where it's a chat that's casual, where we get to learn about Celina, Essence of the Moon. This is an important thing. Please like and subscribe because it's free. You have had a YouTube channel for just over 6 months, correct?
Just 6 months, yes.
So, and
very,
it's
very new.
Yeah, very new. Well, but you've grown exponentially. You've had a lot of activity on your channel, and that's lovely because you just had your 6-month anniversary show.
I did, yes. That was last week.
So this is congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a fun 6-month journey on here. I did not expect to be this involved in a community. Like it just was not something that I thought. I'm like, I'm just going to come on YouTube, post my videos, and go on my merry day.
Sure.
Lo and behold, that does not happen because you develop a relationship with these people. You start connecting with people. You start going on other people's shows. And, now it just consumes a lot of my time on top of everything else that I do. So, yeah.
Yes.
But it's been great. It's been a blessing.
I'm glad about that. And thank you for sharing space with me. I do want to remind everybody that this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. I loved that too. And thank you for getting that mug. I'm glad you got that.
I did. I got that in a notepad from you so I can write my show notes that I need to be working on. So
there you go. Yes. Show notes. Let me tell you, Celina and I were talking backstage a little bit. I used an iPad to create all of my shows, and notes is a wonderful thing because you can copy and paste and do all of that stuff. So it's great.
Yeah.
And we have got the best chatters who are joining us. We have got work lurkers, the best lurkers, and the future lurkers. We appreciate you spending some time with us. We know you've got lots of things to do with your time and many, many options. Thank you for spending it with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have got mods. Please watch this one, Essence of the Moon. Be careful with them. Madame Maru is here. Hello, Maru.
Love her.
Annie Bear. And
hello.
Mangled Unicorn. Fae of the Forest 444. And Truth Wave Energy. It's great to see you.
He's incredible. So he does these really wonderful meditative lives. He had one this morning, but I was working this morning, so I couldn't log into your channel or your live this morning. He does some beautiful energy work that everybody just gets involved in and does breathing and meditation. Definitely check him out, guys. Truth Wave Energy. Put your put your like all of my people can put their links on here. Definitely
Mhm.
put your links on here. Share with everybody. I love when they do that.
Well, and I do want to encourage everybody to follow the links below.
Mhm.
There are ways to subscribe. There's also ways to contact both of us and to show your support
Mhm.
for our work. Purple Moon Tarot
Hello.
and Gold
Monday XY. That's
Monday
Roman.
Roman. You
Yes,
had Roman on your
I did. He was on my channelversary.
okay.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna start this casual and go, what does bruja mean?
Bruja means witch in Spanish.
Okay.
So he's in Miami. He speaks Spanish. He's Cuban. I'm
Mhm.
Mexican, but bruja is witch.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Just want to
If I
make
mean,
sure
if
what I'm
people
asking.
can't tell, this is just part of my ancestral altar,
Mhm.
um, and I do very much associate myself as a witch.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, we've got lots of people who are here. It's great to see everybody. I do want to say a special shout out to my husband, Jeffrey Jadair Owl. Thank you.
Oh, I love that, especially an owl.
Mm-hmm. It's his animal totem.
Mhm.
And Hershey is going to be on my channel in a couple of Tuesdays.
How exciting!
We're going to be talking about what do you do with your tools when you're done with them
When
to
are you
let
done
them.
with your tools?
That's what we're going to talk
No?
about.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
exciting. Hi, Hershey.
Yes. So, Play Love Remember is here, and Melissa R. Timmy
Mhm.
Raven has joined us. Timmy Raven is going to be joining Jamie and me for a back and forth. And so he's going to be asking the questions. So I'm looking
Ooh,
forward
how
to that.
exciting. Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love all
Yes.
these
Yes.
collabs going on. This is amazing. I love this community.
Yes. Collabs are absolutely
Mhm.
wonderful. So the first question, and this can freak some people out. Oh, wait a minute. Holy muck. Look, Linda de
She's up at
Gonzalez is
8 o'clock
awake.
in the morning. Good morning, Linda.
So it's like, what?
Hmm.
So, anyhow, so what's your origin story?
Oh goodness, that's a lot. That's
Would you like me to narrow it down?
yeah. Start with narrowing it down and then see where because that's
What
a lot.
brought you to where you are today doing a YouTube channel called Essence of the Moon?
Yes. So the name. Let's go back to the name then. Essence of the Moon.
Yes.
So my name is Celina, which means goddess of the moon. So that
Hmm.
was an obvious one for me. And I love the cycles of the moon and how it's constantly changing. It's never the same. The sun, always the same. The moon always goes through these phases, go through these
Yes.
changes from dark to light, from really large to small. And it's very much needed for our earth to survive.
Yes.
So the word moon was an obvious one for me. Essence part, I wasn't sure what to call. Like it first started off with my Instagram channel on starting that name first because I wanted to separate my spirituality from my normal, regular, everyday stuff. I felt like it didn't. Um, my pictures with my kids and my husband and my family did well, but then if I put in like tarot stuff, it didn't. I'm like, okay, so I need to kind of like separate my
Of course.
personal
Hmm.
channel from my fun channel, I guess. So I was like, well,
Hmm.
what name come up with? And then the word
Hmm.
essence, that night I saw it in a dream. It came up to me in a dream and it was kind of like spirit was giving me that name because everything has an essence to it. The
Hmm.
moon has an essence to it. The plants have an essence to it.
Yes.
They have a like an energy about them. So I
Hmm.
that's where my name Essence of the Moon came from. I wanted it to feel transformative. I wanted to have like this depth to it. I wanted to feel spiritual. I wanted that lunar wisdom, that emotional depth to it. I wanted all of that put in together, and that's where Essence of the Moon came from. My
Hmm.
channel part, I was always a lurker watching.
Yes.
I was watching these channels for years. I was always a lurker. And I one day told my husband randomly. So if I ever tell him things randomly, he's going to end up buying it for me. And it's just All those decks, I mean, a majority of those decks that I showed you backstage,
Yes.
he bought me like 7 decks all at once recently.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
I had mentioned to him back in like a year ago, probably like a year ago today, I think I want to maybe start a YouTube channel. And he goes, why would you want to do that? I'm like, well, I want to do like a virtual grimoire of my practice. And it's kind of
Uh-huh.
something to um, keep me focused on my practice as well as um, something that I didn't have to write down on the book.
Mhm.
My writing, I mean, I have autoimmune issues. I have systemic lupus. I have RA. So
Mhm.
my hands don't always work.
Yes.
And for me, writing, I have the worst chicken scratch writing ever. And it never looks pretty. I
Yes.
have to really work at it to make it look pretty. And I just said, forget it. I can't do a grimoire, like a book grimoire, at least not now. Maybe I'll do one later on and have it printed for my grandkids whenever I
Of
have
course.
them. So
Mhm.
that was my virtual grimoire. That's why I decided to do YouTube. And then
Mhm.
for my birthday in October, he bought me the new GoPro and said, here, have fun.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, now I have to use a GoPro. Now I have to start a channel. And that's where it started.
Mhm.
Yeah.
First she said she can relate.
Oh, thanks,
So,
Hershey. Yeah.
yeah. So, so you've okay, so you're looking at your YouTube channel as a virtual grimoire, and you're
Mm-hmm.
sharing it with people.
Mm-hmm.
So, what got you to the point of you thinking I need a grimoire?
Well, because I am a practicing witch.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't start practicing until about like actively practicing until like 10 years ago
Mm-hmm.
when I met my husband. I'm remarried. I have 3 boys from a previous marriage from
Mm-hmm.
27 to 21.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And yeah, they're older boys. They're all out in either
Wow.
Ohio, they're in northern Ohio, 2 of them, and then one's in Houston, Texas, down there having the best time of his life,
Excellent.
living his life down there. So I lived in Texas prior. So I lived in okay, let me go back. I'm from Florida. I was born in Florida. And
Mm-hmm.
then I moved to Ohio. So I was in northern Ohio. I was down in by like Vermilion, Oberlin area.
Yes.
I went to high school out there, and that's where my all like pretty much majority of my school was at. And then after my divorce, I said the heck with Ohio, I'm leaving. I was like, it
Mm-hmm.
felt like a treadmill that I was just constantly walking on, going nowhere in life. That's just the
Sure.
energy I felt, and I had to kind of break free from that. So I moved to Houston, and 11 days moving down to Houston, I met my now husband.
Very nice.
So that was about 9 years ago we met, and
Uh-huh.
10 years ago, 10 years ago that we met, and we were long distance. He lives in Pittsburgh, so that's where I'm at now, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked for Fox Sports, so he was always on the road, and I would always fly out to see wherever he was at while he was working.
Yes.
And the pandemic happened, and he came back to Pittsburgh permanently. And to which he said, "Hey, why don't you just move up to Pittsburgh with me and let's get married?" So I did. Yes. And so I was like,
Okay.
well, we can't travel because the pandemic, the pandemic's happening. And
Yes,
I'm like, yeah, this long distance, it's a lot of work. Being long distance
it is.
is work. So that's where my move happened. And I ended up in Pittsburgh. And um, he knew that I was different, to say the least. So he started buying me statues, buying me tarot decks, candles, and herbs. And, you know, 8 years
Mhm.
later, have 4 altars, lots of jars with herbs in them,
Mhm.
lots of candles, and all that
Of
fun stuff.
course.
Yeah,
So, would you consider yourself a hereditary witch?
I am. Yes.
Okay.
So my grandmother was what you would call like a folk witch, kind of. She did granny magic in Mexico. every time I'd go visit her, she knew exactly the touch to put on you to make your pain go away, to make you feel better, kind of like
Oh,
Mexican
yes.
Reiki, like that.
Mhm.
Yes, Matt Maru, I do have a very supportive husband. A
Mhm.
little too much because I have like 7 ducks I have to go through and
Well,
all that stuff.
we call that enabling.
He does. And I was like, no, I shouldn't buy this. And he goes, why? Why not? Go ahead and buy it. You work so
Yes.
hard and, we're
My
not.
husband's my husband's love language is gifts.
Yeah, that's my husband's love language as well.
So, yep.
So, um, that's where my practice started. But yes, I am a hereditary witch. My great grandmother was reading her own version of tarot back in the 1920s.
Of course. Mhm.
And she was a divination witch, so she would do a lot of that stuff. The other day I was with my mom. I was visiting her. She lives in Virginia Beach, but she was in Ohio, and I drove to Ohio to see her.
Uh-huh.
And as I'm doing a reading for my mom, she's like, I'm sitting here watching you, and all I can see is my grandmother doing the cards,
Ah,
which
nice.
was funny. And I was like, okay. I'm like, how come you never told me this? She goes, I never felt the need to tell you. She's like, every time I saw you, I would see my grandmother. And she's like, it's funny how you are so much like her.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. So so what then would you say is okay, we've got your origin story. Share a little bit about your spiritual path. I mean, I think any path that's worth
Yeah.
that's worth anything includes lots of turns, twists, mountains to climb, valleys to explore.
Yeah. I
What do
feel
you
like
want to
I'm
share?
constantly learning.
Yes.
I think I'm always going to be in that path of learning, which is why I have so many books. I have so many tarot decks. I love any esoteric, metaphysical books. I gravitate towards them. That's what I read, or I'll have an audiobook and listen to it while I'm
Yep.
working. It's, to me, it's fascinating. I love to see how other people practice. And I'm not going to and I'm not going to copy exactly what they do. I always put my twist on any type of spell work that I'm doing. Like
Hmm.
recently I did a spell work on my dog. She's a rescue. We've only had her for 8
Okay.
months, and she had to get spayed, but she also has autoimmune issues. She has to get
Okay.
pre-medicated beforehand and afterhand with steroids, and she was not doing well on her first day of getting spayed.
Mm,
Like not well at all. And I was like, okay, I cannot let her suffer. I can't let her deal with this on her own.
yes.
Um, so I had just gotten a book by Madame Pamita on familiars, and there was a spell in there on healing them. I'm like, okay,
Ooh,
well, I don't
okay.
have all the herbs. I was like, I don't have all the herbs that she has on here, but these other herbs resonate better with me on
Yes.
in my practice, and I know them so well, and I know that they're going to help my Darla. So
Mhm.
I did what she said on there, but I added more things to it. I did like not magic. I did other incantations. I did a Mexican limpia on my dog. So I cleansed her not with an egg, but with the herbs. I had them all bundled up into like a little pouch egg for her, and I was
Mhm.
brushing her off. And I'm going to
Very
tell you,
nice.
within an hour of finishing that spell, it took like an hour for me to do that. So it was a lot of energy work, a lot of
Mhm.
intention. She was better. She came over and she put her head on my feet, and then she started licking my legs, and then she rolled on her back for me to rub her belly,
Yep.
like she was telling me, mommy, I'm okay.
That's
And
wonderful. I
it's
love
stuff
that.
like that there's no way that anyone can see something like that happen and be like, magic's not real, because it is. It's the intention, it's the energy, it's what you put into it is what's magic. You
Yes.
don't need all the bells and whistles behind
Mhm.
me to do that. You just need yourself. And that alone is, you're the magic, you're the conduit, you're the one that does everything. So, yeah.
I agree. The intention of why you're doing something
Hmm.
and the passion and the emotions around that are
Yeah.
what make that magic. All of the extra stuff is
Correct.
nice.
Correct. Correct.
It's
But
good
the
stuff.
magic ritual part didn't start happening until like 10 years ago. But when I was like 9 years old, I started seeing stuff. Oh, thank you. I started seeing stuff that I thought everybody would see, and it wasn't there. Like, we lived in a
Mhm.
haunted house, and I mentioned this on our last video, our last live with Bobby, where we did from Wild Raven Tarot, and Ramon was supposed to be on that, but he had technical issues, so we had to change our
Uh-huh.
show last minute. We had to improvise within like 3 hours of the show and come up with a different theme and a whole
Yes.
different thing. And we came up with coming out of the broom closet. So on that
Ah.
show, I mentioned how I was 9 years old and I was seeing stuff that I thought everybody saw, but wasn't there.
Mhm.
I was smelling things, I was tasting things.
Okay.
I'd go to a cemetery and I could taste blood. I'd go to a battlefield and I taste blood, or I get a pounding headache and I'm in
Mhm.
severe pain, like my leg hurts or stuff like that was happening. Um, I thought that was normal. I thought everybody could see that or feel that,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
So I was 9. I didn't know the term witch. I didn't know. I just thought I was different. That's
Mhm.
it. And then I was a young mom. So being a young mom, I kind of like put all that in the back burner. But then again, I realized I was doing a lot of stuff to heal them when they were sick.
Yes.
So I
Mhm.
was still incorporating my magic into it. I just
Uh-huh.
didn't really see it that way. I just saw that that's the mom's love. That's our mom's intention, our energy for our kids.
Yes.
And that alone is what makes your kid feel better. When you kiss their boo boo and they feel better,
Oh,
on top
yeah.
of other stuff.
There are so many things that we do as a culture that are based in
Correct.
healing work,
hmm
witchcraft, whatever you wanna call it, it's there.
When you blow on a candle for your birthday, when you
Thank you.
blow on the dandelion and make a wish, all of those are intentions. All of that is witchcraft.
Yes. Oh, yes. Definitely. You had mentioned you have a lot of books. Do you have a favorite book that you refer back to quite often?
Yes, the Encyclopedia of Herbs,
Yes.
the Encyclopedia of Spirits. It's huge. It's like a ginormous. I have 3 books, and then there's another one.
This
I
is
don't,
this is a great one.
I don't have that one. That one is on my Amazon wish list.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is a good one that I will refer to quite a bit. So,
but yeah.
excellent. Is there a new favorite book that you have?
Yes, I just got in the mail the Hecatian Path book. Um,
Mhm.
I don't have it with me. It was just sent to me for review by Wiser Books. I
Yes.
am a Hecate devotee, but I'm also a Santa Muerte devotee. I'm a newly Santa Muerte devotee. So also the book by Cressa from Santa Muerte that Ramon
Mhm.
from Moonscarab has been putting up on his videos. Both of those books are very important to me, but more so the Santa Muerte Cressida book,
Mhm.
because her and I have formed a connection now because
Very
of
nice.
Ramon. So she
Uh-huh.
sends clients to me where I make oils, which I decided to now put up on my Ko-fi shop. But I never, like, I would sell to people like who would just ask me. And then she was like, Celina, you need to come up with a video, like a place where people can buy them.
Oh, okay.
So, but she would send clients my way, and she's like, hey, I think this person needs X, Y, and Z oils. Can you make all of these for them?
Mhm.
And I was making 5 to 6 oils for these people. So yeah.
That's great.
And then
That's
she just recently messaged me saying that the oils that I've sent her have really helped her and in many ways, and she's been seeing the changes happening and the manifestations happening, like the transmutation oil and a bunch of other ones that I sent her have really helped her.
I love that. And please tell me you're writing the recipes down in your grimoire so that you have them and can refer back to them?
Yes, they're on my notes on my
Okay.
phone. But I do have a notebook that I feel like I start to doodle, like when I come up with these recipes, I do write them down, but that's because I'm
Yes.
scratching out and changing and writing next to them and editing stuff. And that's just my way. That's just my creative way of doing it. Once it's done and it's tested, then I'll type it
Mhm.
up and stick it on my notes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I am a big
Yeah.
fan of always taking notes in the process. I've done some
Hmm.
oils. I've done a couple of oils for people,
Yeah.
and there's divination involved.
Hmm.
There's research.
Yep.
There's more divination involved.
Yeah.
There's more research,
Yeah.
and there's playing with it. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Candle
fun.
magic involved from me as well. There's
Hmm.
also tarot magic that I involve in it. So I put up specific tarot cards that will help
Okay.
amplify the energy of that spell.
Oh, okay.
So I do candle magic, I do crystal magic, I do tarot magic, and then I'm huge on past life regression. So
Hmm.
I have been able to regress 13 of my past lives,
Hmm.
and 12 of them were women, female witches.
Okay.
So I bring all of them with me when I'm doing spell
I
work.
love that.
I bring them all
Yes.
forward and I ask for their help and assistance and energy and power when I'm creating a oil. So I bring them in to help me. And
Hmm.
then when I'm actually making it with their energy, I ask for them to do that. So
I love that. Have you ever had any of them say no?
nope,
Okay. I'm just curious
nope.
because, when I'm working with deity
Hmm.
myself, I usually check and ask how they can
Yeah.
help and what they want in exchange. And I've had some of them that I thought would be a good resource for me. They're like, nope, I'm not in on this. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. No,
At least I asked.
yeah, my past lives, they're a part of me. So it's like I don't think they're gonna want to say no. And I've always,
Hmm.
I mean, it's a lot of energy work that I do. So these oils do take a lot of time to do when
They
I'm
do.
the finished product. You know, it's a lot of intention, a lot of energy. And I think the more I do it, I won't get as exhausted towards the end. But it's exhausting work.
It is. And it's very rewarding.
Yes.
Yes. I would also imagine, especially with, a name like Essence of the Moon, you're paying attention to moon phases as you're creating these things.
Yes, so I do pay attention to the moon phases when I am making them, so they do have to be made at the right time.
Yep.
So I do incorporate moon magic with them. I do put them, or some of them, like my litha oil, I incorporated the sun into it, so sun
Yes.
energy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I like that. That makes a lot of sense. What was your first deck?
it was just the regular wider weight Smith deck that my
Hmm.
husband bought me, and it is on a linen cardstock. The box is broke. It's a tuck box. It's no longer a tuck box anymore. Um, and that's why I dislike tuck boxes because they are so difficult to get in and out of all the time. So now it just lives in a nice little bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh, it must have been about 4 years. I had a series of stuff called Tuck Box Rage. Go look for that on the YouTube channel
It's
because it's
horrible.
just silly. It was Tuck Box Rage was a band because we made it into a band. So anyhow,
It was
what was
horrible.
the
Yeah.
yeah? What
Like
was the
yeah, like tuck box. These are horrible.
Yep, yep. Oh, I have that deck.
The Vision Quest.
Yes, I do. I
My
do.
husband just gifted that to me.
I know. I think I remember hearing about this.
Yeah.
Your husband is definitely an enabler. What was the last deck you received? I
Well,
know
they were.
she's got this
Oh,
pile of 7 that are really close to her.
I know. The last one that I received is it. So it was from. I got two of them the same day.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
this one came from. He's in the chat. That's Gold Monday. He sent me a tarot in Espanol,
Ooh, nice.
which is really good. It has really beautiful images on it, and I needed a deck to do tarot with my mom. She likes her tarot readings in Spanish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
So I struggle to find the correct words to because I never learned how to translate tarot decks from English to Spanish. So when I'm doing a reading for my mom, I'm like translating some of the words because I
Sure.
can't do them. So thank you, Roman, for that. And then I also got, I love Agatha All Along. It's on Disney Channel.
Oh, yes, that just
And
came out. Bobby just
yeah,
posted a video
because I
about
sent
that.
it to him
Yeah.
and he's a big Agatha All Along fan. And so am I. So that I had pre-ordered it not too long ago when I knew that him and I were, we had developed a brotherly relationship. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Jonathan also got the Agatha All Along.
yeah. So I have yet to look through this because my schedule has been so crazy all week.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to go through any of my decks, except for the Spanish one. I did go through that and do like a quick draw on that one for
Uh-huh.
behind the moon series. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you are a devotee for Santa Muerte,
Mhm.
and a recent one, if
Yes.
I'm recalling correctly, because Ramon, and you and,
Bobby. Hmm.
Bobby did a lot of conversation about that. Ramon
Hmm.
has had the author on.
Hmm.
Very, very informative
Yes.
videos. So may I ask you, and you can
Sure.
absolutely refuse to answer this
Yeah.
or just
Good.
pass, why Santa Muerte?
Oh, she's been calling way before Ramon even came into my life.
Mhm.
I have been avoiding her.
Oh, how'd that work for you?
Not well at all because she decides to put me on a show with Ramon and Bobby and then puts Cressida in my path. I so Santa Muerte requires a lot of attention. And I'm in college right now, and as well as working full time, I work, about 50 hours a week easily, sometimes 60.
Mhm.
I have my dog, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, responsibilities. I
Yes.
was like, I don't know if I can give her all of this attention that she
Mhm.
desires or that she requires.
Right.
I am a Hecate devotee and have been for 10 years.
Mhm.
But it's different with Hecate than it is with Santa Muerte. She has been calling and calling and calling, and I have been avoiding her like the plague for the longest time because I could not devote the attention that she wanted. Well, she puts Ramon in my path, and I'm like, oh, great. And then she puts Cressida in my path. My dog's just found a toy and she's going crazy. So you guys are going
Great.
to hear that.
Hey, it works.
Yeah, she's going nuts. And even like Cressida, when she was, she would message me. She's like, Santa's calling you. I'm like, I know, but I don't know if I can give her the time that she requires. And she's like, well, she'll be here waiting for you because she wants you on her team.
Uh-huh.
So then Cressida and I, we talk pretty regularly, and she sends clients my way to do the oils and stuff. And the
Yes.
one day that I was doing a huge order of oils for her one client in Texas, that morning before I got the client, I told Santa Muerte, I'm like, please send me a sign that you want me to work with you.
Okay.
So an hour later, Cressida messages me. She's sending this client over. I'm chatting with this client all day to see what oils she needs because I made like 6 oils for her. My husband was heading to work. It was like 8 p.m. and I was going to get ready to start making these oils
Sure.
when an owl appears on my driveway. A huge tuft owl, which is
Mm.
her messenger. So I'm like bawling hysterically because I was like, okay, I guess she thinks I can do this. And I put on a meditative music video from YouTube on my TV, and it's just a image of her on the screen with the meditation music as I'm
Ah,
kind of calming down and doing a prayer and a thank you to her for giving me a sign. As I look up at the TV, Santa Muerte appears right in front of me. There's eyes that have now replaced the socket, and I see a image staring down at me.
hmm.
It wasn't the TV image. Santa
Yeah.
Muerte was in my living room staring at me, and I was like, what the heck? did just happen, and she appeared there. So I was like crying all over again, like an emotional wreck. And I had to calm down
Mhm.
again so that I can start performing, you know, making all these oils to get ready to
Yes.
send out. Because you have to be in a state of mind to be able to do these things. You can't
Yes.
be emotional. You can't be a wreck like that. So was like, I have work to do. So I need to, had to recenter, reground myself. And I'm like, okay, that's sign enough that she wants me to work with her. So
Love that.
she was very much in my face for the longest time, and I kept avoiding her. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you're going to avoid me? Let me send Ramon and Cressida to you." And then that was it.
Yes. I have the Santa Muerte tarot,
Mm-hmm.
and in my spiritual journey, I have had an opportunity to meet a wide variety of people and in different spiritual paths,
Mm-hmm.
people who honor their ancestors
Yes.
and speak to those who have passed on. The Santa Muerte is my go-to for honoring the ancestors and speaking with guides that are not necessarily in my cosmology.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, and it's great. It's like, especially when I get out of the way
Mm-hmm.
and just connect. So it's like, oh yeah, I hear you.
It's a beautiful deck. The Oracle deck is also amazing. Fabio Lestrani, who's a creator of those
Yes.
decks, is ridiculously nice to talk to on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Super nice. Like he even told me the backstory of the Oracle deck. If you flip the cards over, they make the Ouija board. He
Yes.
said that the print that they gave him the hardest time because he was insistent. He's like, I want the Ouija board on the back of these cards. They
Yeah,
gave him the printing, like his company gave him the hardest time on doing that. And I was like, well, I'm so happy you stuck with it because it was great.
it is
I was
great.
like, I love both your decks, but he's super nice. I just
Mhm.
recently, not too long ago, I got his voodoo deck as well. I love,
Oh, I don't have that one.
yeah, I got that deck. I love New Orleans. I love the energy down there. I was down there about 2 years ago for my birthday with my girlfriend, my best friend,
Nice.
and it's such an amazing energy down there. Just it's so different. It's like you're walking with spirits the whole time.
Mm.
I loved it. I loved it. And then we went to a Oddfellows cemetery down there. My husband's a Freemason, so it's not an Oddfellows, but I love how there's a similarity to them,
Mhm.
and that was great to see. Yeah,
I love that. I
yeah.
love that. So I would say, you're a new devotee to
Hmm.
Santa Muerte. Do you have any idea where you're going next or where you want to go? I mean, and I realize that's a loaded question. So,
Yeah. I'm just happy that she thinks I'm worthy enough to work with. You know, I'm just honored, very honored. Growing up Mexican, and I was taught to fear her. You know, my mom
mhm.
always made me feel like I had to fear her. So that's why I think that's where the hesitant why I hesitated is because I feared her from
Ah,
what I had heard from my mom. But then, you know, hearing Ramon's side and Cressida's side, I'm like, okay, there's something to fear. I think with any god or goddess that you work with, you need to be very serious about it. You need to
yes.
not just, oh, I'm just going to work with them. It's not, and then just dump them whenever you feel like dumping them. You don't do that. There's this, you treat them like your elders. There's a sign of respect and of reverence there. And it's even more so than your elders. But I was always taught to respect my elders.
Mhm.
So it's something that you really have to take not lightly and very much be very serious about it. So that's why I hesitated for so long until I was like, okay, I can't stop avoiding
Yeah.
her because she's gonna put everybody else in my path that's a Santa Muerte devotee, and I'm gonna have no choice but to just go ahead and do it. So yeah.
Mhm. And Jane the Seeker, who keeps trying to leave,
Oh
keeps saying, I have to listen to this now. My daughter-in-law is Mexican and loves that deck.
yes, I love that. Hi Jane, and hi
So
to your daughter-in-law.
there you go. Um, yeah, I am a firm believer deity will work with any of us, if we approach them respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
uh, well, there you go. Start with respect, because they're tired of people who are just they're window shopping.
Yes. Or it's a fad.
Yes.
Oh, everybody's working with Lilith. Let's do the same thing.
Yes.
But you have to be very serious and very um it's not light work at all.
No.
They don't like that.
Yeah. Santa Muerte is kind. She meets you where you are.
Thank you, Maru.
I would also say she meets you where you are, and she encourages to get you to go where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think within the 6 months of me being on YouTube and meeting everybody in the community, especially Bobby and Ramon, Miss Tarot D, there's so many of them in our
Mhm.
community who I I felt like I was, everybody gets that imposter syndrome.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
When you're reading tarot, when you're reading anything like that, when you're in the witchcraft community, I was like, no, I can't do this. And I just, but I was doing stuff and I had stuff that was tried and true, but I still felt like I had that imposter syndrome. But then, you get Bobby and Ramon and, we talk every single day on our group chat.
I love it.
And, Bobby, he'll get in like in a nice brotherly older brother way, get in my face and be like, Celina, you're a badass. And then he'll say it. He's like, you are this incredible witch. I saw it the moment I met you the first time. I knew you were incredible. I knew you had this power in you. I knew you had this energy in
Mhm.
you. And he did. And it's still, sometimes you kind of just get in your head and think, I'm not worthy enough,
There
And
is
I think
that.
it's that grounding quality that's in me that I don't want to get my head too big, and I want to just be grounded continuously on this path of mine.
Yes. Yes. The imposter syndrome is real.
Hi, Sophie. I didn't see you were here. I'm sorry.
It's the feeling of that is
Yeah.
real, and oftentimes how to overcome that can be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. Imposter syndrome is
Thank you, Summer.
hard to overcome. Hmm. Julianne is
Oh,
here,
hi,
and
Julianne.
look, Heather is here.
Oh, good
Hello.
morning, Heather. I love you.
Heather is going to be joining me next Thursday for a creativity conversation.
Oh, that's exciting because I love her.
I'm
Her
Yes,
creative out.
I am very excited to have
Gorgeous.
Heather join me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. I
Yes.
mean, you know, what are people going? I mean, and I have in the description,
Mm-hmm.
I added information from the about you section
Mm-hmm.
of uh, of your YouTube channel, but I want people to hear it from you, because right now they are already looking at the description of this video.
Mm-hmm.
They're clicking on your link and subscribing, right? Looking at you people. You're doing it. So tell us what can people expect? What are the sorts of videos that you like to do?
Yeah.
Tell
So
us.
I'm I feel like I'm still trying to learn exactly where I want my channel to go since it's only 6 months. But
Mhm.
I do some rituals on there, like I did with my dog. I did put that ritual on
Very
YouTube.
nice.
I
Mhm.
do some other rituals on there. I do unboxings. To me, unboxings are very important because that's how I decide how I'm going to buy a deck.
Yes.
And I cherish when people do those things. And um, because I don't want to spend $28 on a deck and then not like it. So I usually go to YouTube and
Yes.
search that deck and look at walkthroughs before I say, okay, I'm going to purchase this.
I need to do more flip throughs. I am a fan
Mhm.
of flip throughs
Thank you.
because I want to see all of the cards. I don't want to hear what you think about them. I
Yeah.
don't need a first impression. I just need to see the images.
Yeah.
So,
So I
okay.
do that. I do book reviews for magic books, like different types that are sent to me.
Mhm.
I do a lot of the VRs. I do lives. I'm thinking about doing my own interview as well. And
Nice.
I want to interview like witches on my channel and go through like their whole, like what they do, what
Love
put
that.
them on the same path, the same, the same thing. But I do have my every Thursday I do behind the moon with Bobby and Ramon.
Mhm.
And that has been great. I think doing
Yeah.
that, I've done some live, or I did a live with Sherry. So I did like a slumber
Oh,
party
yeah.
live with her.
Yeah, a couple
I
of
did
Saturdays ago.
I did,
Yes.
yeah. That was like
Mhm.
a 2 hour long session, people. If
Yes.
anybody knows, Sherry has an amazing people on her channel, and they all want readings.
Yeah.
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 So that was like 2 hours long, but that was very fun to do. So it's nice to do some collaborations with other people in the community, and get to know their people, and
Mhm.
everybody just subbing to everybody, and
Yeah.
communicating with everybody. So I think it's fun.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what types of I know you like to watch some flip throughs, but
Hmm.
what other videos do you like to watch on YouTube? I'm putting her
So
on the spot, everybody.
you
She did
are.
not know I was asking that.
So my friend Sophie, who Midwest Magician, her and I talk pretty much daily as well. She has an amazing channel, and I love all of her folk witch content that she does. She shares what her weekend looks like. She shares what's
Yes.
in her witchy bag. She also does like book reviews and some stuff like that. But she's a phenomenal gardener, her and her husband, and the stuff
Mhm.
that comes up in her garden, like magically reappears a couple years later, and she thought it completely died off. And I love watching her stuff. um
Yes.
Yadira from underneath the veil of marigolds, she is a baneful magic witch. So I love watching her stuff, and the opposite side of, from I think we all have that dark and light aspect in us. And when I watch her channel, I mean, her and I talk also on a daily basis.
Uh-huh.
And she has phenomenal work for protection magic.
Mhm.
So I like watching that. Currently, my husband and I aren't watching YouTube together. We are busy watching the Tour de France. Every
Oh,
year,
yes.
every
Uh-huh.
year we watch the Tour de France. So it's
Mhm.
3 weeks, almost a whole month long in July. But they have phenomenal scenery. We love the French scenery, and we
Yes.
love to see what accidents are happening.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am a knitter, and I know a lot of people who are spinners.
Hmm.
So whilst the Tour de France is going on, they do something called Tour de Fleece, where they're spinning wool during
No,
Tour de
stop
France.
it. I
Yeah.
love that. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
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 So we watch the Tour de France every July for the past, I don't know, 8 years. We watch it continuously.
Hmm.
Um, it's something him and I do. We watch scary movies. My husband is the one that, I mean, as I just mentioned, my husband's a Freemason, so he's very familiar with the occult and rituals
Yes.
and Baphomet. Hence why you see Baphomet up here. That's his
Yes.
Baphomet.
Hmm.
But we watch a lot of scary movies. We watch a lot of movies together.
Okay.
Uh,
Now you're talking about movies. Is there a movie that you will watch over and over and over again? I'm just curious.
yes, it's a series.
Okay, which
There's
one?
a couple of them that I continuously put on. So I love the Vampire Diaries
Okay.
and the originals. I'm a huge Klaus Michelson fan. I love Klaus.
Hmm.
A Discovery of Witches. I read the trilogy.
The trilogy is
Oh,
phenomenal, isn't
it's so
it?
good. The trilogy is amazing. If anybody
Yes.
has not read, the series is great. The trilogy, even better.
Books are usually, well,
Always
books are
better.
mostly better. Yes.
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 Mayfair Witches, the books,
Hmm.
way better than the series itself. But I
Yes.
love the New Orleans aspect, so I'll watch that over and over
Yes.
again, even though there's people that have some opinion on the way it was made. And
Yeah.
her Anne Rice books. And I loved also the series of the Interview with the Vampire.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
the series one.
Okay.
So there's the movie, but I like the series better. So yeah.
Okay. So
And then
I am
Agatha All Along on the Disney Channel. I think I've seen that like 5 times already.
okay. Okay, so we've had a request to get underneath the veil of the marigold. So excuse me while I put the
She's
link for
amazing.
that into the chat.
Yeah. She's
So
amazing.
for people who were looking at that, there it is. So I think, okay, so we have this comment here. I think live collabs make it easier to be comfortable online.
It's not
Online.
easy being on live, guys. So my first live I had with Bill from the 999 show.
Yes.
He was my first one that he wanted to do a coloring thing with me. I have like severe anxiety, so I already had like horrible anxiety to start with, and I avoided his email for about, I don't know, 3 days before I responded. Don't tell
That,
him I
yeah,
said this,
it's like
people.
ignoring Santa Muerte.
I know. But I was like, oh, I have to respond. And then Anne from Roots and Waves, she's like, Celina, I will be there in the chat. You will be fine.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I did it. And then after that, here I am. I don't know how many lives later in 6 months. And now they're just like second nature.
I love that. By the way, this is Chris from Elemental Cartomancy, my husband's favorite YouTuber. Chris,
Ooh,
please meet
okay.
Celina,
Hi.
Chris.
Yes.
So, and
Oh,
Amethyst
Rochelle.
Ascension,
Yep.
Tarot and Astrology, and Rochelle did
So I do a lot
me.
of VRs with her channel, and
Yes.
I was a big lurker of her channel years ago before I decided to come on and do my own
Yes.
channel. But then I quickly connected with everybody in her group. So
Yep.
Rochelle, with Summer, with Courtney, her sister Carla, with Debbie. I mean, we all just connected, and we all
Yeah.
do VRs together.
Yes. And yes, Rochelle a long time ago sent me she did the true sidereal
Yes.
astrology reading for me, and guess what? I still use it.
Me
So
too. So I
it's
resonate with True
perfect.
Sidereal over Western.
Oh
So
yes. Oh
yeah.
yes. Oh yes. So we are at 52 minutes, and it's incredible. So let me ask you this. I always like to end with this question: is what brings you joy?
Oh, there's so many things.
Great. Share
Um,
so many things.
yeah, seeing the people around me happy and doing well. Um, Seeing my mom happy, my family, my dog, my kids, being out in nature. My husband and I love to travel, so we live
Mhm.
close to Gettysburg, so we go to Gettysburg pretty often.
Okay,
Um,
so here's an interesting thing about Gettysburg. When I was going through Gettysburg to go to an event for my madrina, Gettysburg, you can get a lot of clinger-ons there if you're not careful.
yes,
So use some caution, people.
very
So
much. Gettysburg
anyhow,
is a very heavily spirited place. The
yeah, I
moment
like the way you've said that. It's
I
a
got to
very
be
heavily,
very,
yes,
yeah. The first time I went there and we drove right in, I was in the back seat with my mother-in-law. My husband's driving. My father-in-law's next to him. I started bawling like a baby. My husband's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm so sad right now." It was just the immense sadness that came over me. I was a mess the whole trip.
uh-huh,
We went to the last battle, which is where the cult of trees was at,
uh-huh,
and where all the cannons were going. And I'm walking through there and not realizing where I'm at, because I wasn't a huge Civil War buff. I am now because of my husband, and I'm familiar with
sure,
it. So we were walking through there, and I felt like my leg got knocked out from underneath me, and I was in severe pain that whole day. And my husband's like, "Well, you do realize where we're at?" I'm like, "No, I don't know where we're at."
yeah,
He goes, "This is the last day battle. This is where all the cannons were going off." And he's like, "You probably felt somebody's leg knocked out, just
sure,
knocked out from underneath you." Well,
mm-hmm,
lo and behold, that's probably what I felt. I felt the
yep,
residual energy of that. And then
Mm-hmm.
the next morning, my husband and I went and got breakfast, and we went, we always eat breakfast on the battlefield. So as we finished our breakfast and went up to go look at some of the statues and the monuments that were there, it was just me and him. It was like barely sunrise, and 7:30 in the morning, the sun was barely coming out. And as I'm passing him, he looks over and he sees me. Well, he sees a Confederate soldier
Oh, okay.
walking past him, and he did a double take because he thought it was me. He's like, it's only the two of us. And then he realized I had changed. No, it was a Union soldier. He blinked several times and then realized that was me passing next to him.
Wow. Okay.
So I've seen lots of soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
I felt their energy. I have tasted blood. I've gotten severe, agonizing headaches where I wanted to vomit from the
Yeah.
pain because I'm feeling all of that energy that was happening. But my husband has a great time taking me because he's like, do you feel anything? Do you feel anything? And he's a big history collector. He loves World War II and Civil
Mm-hmm.
War items. So we do have authentic items here in our house.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's
bet
very
it was just
crystal.
so heavy. Yes. Well, and I agree with you. For people who are sensitive to that,
Mhm.
it can be very overwhelming, especially if you're not expecting it.
No,
So,
no. Well, I had an experience with you not too long ago, Gerald, after our live.
mhm.
You know,
Feel free to share if you
yeah,
want.
so I with my autoimmune stuff, and had been feeling miserable for a couple weeks, to which we had ended our live, and Gerald in the
Mhm.
back, he's like, can I say something? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. He goes, I have someone is poking me like on my shoulder, and they're asking me, are you taking your vitamins? To
Yep.
which I said, that's my grandmother. I was like,
Mhm.
no, I'm not taking my vitamins. I keep forgetting them. And then that's when Gerald's like, okay, well, that's the way to honor them, is if you take your vitamins
Yep.
every day. So I have been taking my vitamins. Thank you, Gerald. But at the same
Good.
time, the communication with spirit did not end when we ended our call. It was 11:30 at night. I was like, I have to call my mom to tell her this because this is my
Yes.
mom's mom. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
no, it's 11:30. She's sleeping. I can't talk to her. To which I get a knowing, call your sister.
Mhm.
So I called my little sister, which I never call her. She's, I mean, she's my baby sister. I don't bother her. She usually is the one that's reaching out
Sure.
to me to call me, but I don't never call her at 11:30 at night.
Uh-huh.
So she answers, and we chatted for like a split second, and she's like, hey, do you want to say hi to mom? And I'm like, shut up. You're with mom? I'm like, I've been wanting to talk to her, but I didn't want to call her because it's too late. So I had in my AirPods on, and I felt like I was being like crouched over, like you feel like, when someone's reading, like you're
Mhm.
trying, like you're reading a book or something, and someone's like looking over your shoulder to see what you're reading.
Yes.
Like that's the energy I felt. So I told my sister, I'm like, hold on, let me take out my AirPod so I can talk to you because I don't feel right now. She goes, good,
Uh-huh.
because you sound staticky and you sound
Ah, uh-huh.
like it's muffled. I'm like, well, that's probably grandma, because she probably was up by my ear because she wanted to hear my mom talk. So I think that's why
Mhm.
she was like all up in my space. And as soon as I took it out and put my sister on speaker, I'm like, can you hear me? She's like, yes, it's perfect.
Mhm.
So I was able to give my mom that message that Gerald had given me. But it's funny that it didn't end as soon as Gerald and I, hung up with each other.
Yeah.
Bye, Lila. It didn't end. It's my grandmother was telling me, call your sister because that's where your mom's at. So it was just really, and then the next day my mom called me. She's like, can you tell me again what happened? So I went through the whole story again on how Gerald was on our show, and, he's like, can I tell you something? And that's where it started. So then I
Well,
pulled out my
y
card because I make oracle cards of my ancestors because
yes.
that's how I communicate with my guides, my ancestors, and they're all on my they all sit behind me because I have a permanent altar for them. So I showed Gerald the card. That's my grandmother that's poking you.
I love that.
And
Well,
you're like, yes, that is.
yes. Yeah. I always love it when people create their own tools like that, the oracle cards. I know when Heather comes on next Thursday, she's created her own oracle cards, and
Beautiful.
I'm very, very excited to see those.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, just
So
beautiful stuff. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, that's, I mean, it's funny how just these messages happen, and they don't always end when you stop, when you hang up with the person that gave you the message.
Yes. Well,
Beautiful.
and I think it is one of those things, if I have advice for someone who is being spiritually aware, whatever you want to call it, I love the idea of figuring out your individual rhythm
Hmm.
with the information and the energy.
Definitely.
So, and do not compare yourself to me. Do not
Mm-mm.
compare yourself to Celina. Celina and I would both tell you that's a silly idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. Figure out your rhythm, because that's your weaving and that's your connection. So,
There are no two tarot readers alike. There are no two witches alike. There are no two psychic mediums alike.
correct.
Everybody has their own way of doing things, their own way of reading people. Don't feel because your method is different from somebody else's that it's not valid, because it's
Hmm.
definitely very much valid. um, because we're all different. We all practice differently, read differently. We all had different upbringings, that one message to one person is going to mean something totally different to somebody else.
Hmm. Yes. Taking you up on your challenge. Stay tuned.
What's that, Roman?
I may have missed that, but I'm like going, ooh, cool. Okay. And yeah, everyone is different. Fact.
Yeah.
Everyone should be different, because when
Hmm.
it's cookie cutter, there is a concern for
Yes.
me. It's like, oh, I was just thinking about that, Roman. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about, but we're going to see what Roman says. So, but I do agree with the um okay, Roman. Okay. I love the idea of doing lives with people. If you do a live by yourself, sometimes it's like talking into the void because no one else is there.
Yeah.
Oh, meant for
Lila.
Lila.
I'll let you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, but
Correct.
now
So
now
that's
we
why
all
for my
want to
channel
know.
verse, I'm sorry.
No, that's why what we all want to know. It was meant for Lila, but no,
Yeah, Roman, sure.
we'll be watching.
Yes. So
So,
that's why with my channelversary, I didn't want to do it by myself, because the channelversary wasn't just for me. It was for everybody that I've met in these 6 months who have
yes.
made my channel what it is, who have brought so much joy into my life. That's why I included, I gave links to all these people to come on whenever they wanted to. So that's why you saw Lila was on there. You saw Star
Yes.
on there. You saw Roman on there. Rochelle was on there. Alexis Milner was on there. You know, um, I wanted everybody to be a part of it because they are a part of who I am now. And I'm
Hmm.
super thankful to have met them in these past 6 months.
Yes.
And, I think it was a lot more fun to have your friends on there.
Yeah, I think it is much more fun to have people around. And I will say, I am not for everyone, and everyone's not for me.
Same for
That's
me.
okay.
Yeah.
That's why there's a good variety.
Hmm.
And I think that's great. I just have to put this up. Holy shit! And I'm like, we got a holy shit.
Roman.
So so
What
well, and
are
I
you guys doing in the chat?
yes, and I have subscribed to you, Roman. So there you go. But um, last minute thoughts you want to share with everybody. We're over an hour, and I promise to keep you as close to an hour as I could possibly. So, anybody have any
Yeah.
questions for
Yeah. Anybody
Celina?
have questions for me? I'm very much transparent. If anybody asks me anything, oh, thank you, Rochelle. I love you.
Hmm.
She's like it's it's funny how you meet people and then you realize I knew them from a past life.
Sure,
You definitely
sure.
come in contact. We have a saying in Cuban. Okay, Roman.
I'm like going, well, bring it. I mean,
Bring it on,
yes.
Roman. But it's, you meet people and you're like, I knew you in a past life. My husband, I've known him. I've been able to go back to 3 past lives together with him.
Okay.
And we were married in 2 of them, but the one we weren't married in, he was my teacher in that one.
Oh, okay.
So I did go through Salem when all of that happened. I did pass through there, and I was
Mhm.
unalived shortly after that. So
Yeah.
I did regress to my death, to my hanging, to seeing
Hmm.
my husband in the crowd, the crowd there.
Yeah.
It was such a very difficult regression to do.
Sure.
But it's very
Yes.
much needed because, I I think all of those lives in your past kind of help mold you to who you are today.
Yes.
And they're all part of your journey. And the next life will be this, my life now will be another journey to someone else, to my future reincarnation, I guess. So
Exactly.
um, I think that's all very important, and how you have soul contracts with people and you keep coming back with them.
Hmm. Yes. Here's the saying, you know,
Oh, you're not a croquette that everyone has to like you. You've told me that before, Roman.
are you listening to him? Okay, so we do have a question. Any new projects you are doing?
So I am making more oils to be selling. uh, Bobby and Miss Taro D and Cressida have all said, Celina, can you make more oils for us? So that's what I'm doing. I'm
Good.
trying to let it come organically as well, though, but I'm also just putting them, actually doing the selling part of it. So, I mean, I'm
Beautiful.
in college, so actually, technically, the class I'm in right now is a marketing class,
Oh,
which it's kind of funny that it was
yeah.
my previous class was a business class. So
Oh, very nice. Very
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like just putting all this stuff into work that I'm doing in college that I'm also doing right now.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. And so, Celina, your decor is similar to my house. Mine's eclectic. Love your
Thank
decor.
you.
Very cool.
Yes. We love Halloween. I did a half year or halfway to Halloween VR,
Fun.
which I have a permanent Halloween village set up.
Nice.
And then I have my husband collects a lot of the Trick or Treat Studio mask. So right
Yes.
now I look up and I see a mask from Jason staring at me.
Hmm.
And there is mask. I mean, there are mask everywhere, but it's a perpetual Halloween that is set up in our house. We never take down our Halloween decor except for the stuff that's outside, like the animatronics and inflatables. Those
Yes.
aren't up year round, but everything else stays.
My husband has said, time to set up shop, Celina. Just saying.
Yes, yes, I am doing that. But I love your picture, by the way.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, what are your upcoming events? Both of
Well,
us.
yes. So we have our weekly live with Bobby and Ramon on Behind the Moon series. We do simulcast, all 3 of us. That's on Thursday.
Hmm.
The next one is on divination in Egypt.
Nice.
So that's Ramon's going to be presenting that one. And I am going to start to do my once a month where I want to pick a witch to come on and do an interview with her, either live or not live, depending what they're comfortable with, what they're
Hmm.
comfortable in. I want to make them as comfortable as possible. Some people like live, some people don't, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
I'll definitely do either one for them.
Yes. On next Wednesday, I have a creativity conversation, which is part 2 about brainstorming with Linda De Gonzalez
Mhm.
and Diana Bowles, oil
Mhm.
painter. We're going to be talking, brainstorming the idea of an altar.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. And then I have Heather on Thursday,
Mhm.
where we're doing a creativity conversation, and that'll be quite good. So, The best thing to do is to subscribe to both of our channels.
Yep.
Links are in the description. Ring the bell so that you can get notified about the shows. So please do that. They just did last Thursday was coming out of the broom closet
Yeah,
show.
we just did that one. It was a 2 hour long show. It was such a great show, and I love when everybody in the chat, you know, chats away and asks us questions and
Hmm.
puts in
Yes,
their experience. And I think that's, I mean, I love when the community comes together and does that. But coming out of the broom closet was our last show, and it was really good.
yes. Jeffrey said, I do love me a nice oil plus made by a witch, filled with intention. Yes, please. Purchase responsibly. Know your limits. There you go. You
Is
know,
that where you get the know your limits from?
there, well, there's a whole
I
thing
have
about
no
this
limits. No
because, well,
limits.
yes, but there has been, there was for a while, people were, when people would share videos about decks,
Hmm.
decks can be very expensive. And it's one of these things that you need to purchase responsibly, pay your rent, pay your mortgage,
Have some food in the fridge
yes, take care of that. And you have to
first.
know your limits because your
Hmm.
limits are things like, I may not need another copy of that deck, or I have enough decks that fulfill that need. And that's why I've added, we're here to share, not to sell. So some
Yeah.
people, when they see something, have a difficult time using discernment.
Not only that, but because we have Amazon at our fingertips and you
Oh,
can easily get it. If you have to go to a metaphysical shop to buy these things, it makes it harder.
yeah,
But now that we have Amazon at our fingertips,
there
I'm
you go.
always buying decks.
Yep, it was a whole thing.
And
People were blaming people who were doing walkthroughs instead of being responsible for their own habits.
yeah,
Yep.
that's right, Rochelle.
And it is the sharing, not the selling, because I really would like to see as much of the deck as I possibly can before I purchase it. Because when I first started reading tarot, yeah,
Those are all my husband's responsibilities.
but he knows you, and
I know.
so, but back in the day when I first started buying tarot decks, you couldn't find all of the images. YouTube
No,
as it exists.
no.
Yeah. What? Really? Shut up, Jeffrey. Um, but there was was it Eclectic Tarot, which was online, and they had reviews, and they, in those reviews, they actually had pictures of some of the cards, so it was fun. So, but that's how I would look.
Hmm.
But and people can follow along and find out if there's certain cards that are a deal breaker for you.
Yeah.
uh that's where you get it. But now,
But like
um
Rochelle does a lot of
yes.
walkthroughs and shows a lot of the decks. And I mean, she's the reason why I have so many decks.
Yes. Yeah.
But now
you
they're
know
just sent to me too. So, I'm very thankful for
yeah.
that, these companies do send me decks to review. I'm super appreciative of that. And now I don't have to blame Rochelle anymore.
And for me, it's oftentimes it's a hashtag Amethyst Ascension Tarot and Astrology made me do it,
Yes. And that
which
happens
is,
a lot. But I love that yeah, you are an enabler, Rochelle, but
but
I
but
love
it
you.
but it is a service. Yes.
Yes. Because you go through the card stock, if it's glossy, if it's going to show well on camera, what you compare it with. I mean, she goes through so many things.
Yeah. I would also appreciate seeing how the cards correspond in a tableau, how they correspond to each other. Yes, I'm a huge fan of that. And we have, giggles.
Sorry, not
Sorry,
sorry.
not sorry. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, I have many decks, but specific go-to ones.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we could not see the whole deck, had a few that were not for me and other family members. So true. The art can be beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
There
Ebb
you
and
go.
flow. Just, I mean, I I I mean, I love walkthroughs for that reason, that they help you make a sound purchase. So if you are going to spend $28 on a deck, you know it's going to be worth it.
Well, and now some of the decks, they're 50, $60,
Kickstarter?
especially if you buy from a reputable source and do not buy the counterfeit decks. Don't get me
Yeah.
started on those.
No, no, no. But the Kickstarters, I mean, I'm
Oh yeah.
spending. I was just introduced to Kickstarters when I started YouTube,
Oh, back
and
away.
I got my first Kickstarter that I backed, and those are not, those are not cheap.
No, they're not cheap. However, they're of good quality and they're
Very
supporting
good
the artists.
quality,
And I
very
and I
good
like that.
quality, and you are supporting that artist, which is,
Yes.
instead of the publishing companies, you're supporting them
Yeah.
specifically. So I think that's,
Oh yeah.
I love doing that.
Yep. Yes. That makes me really happy. So, and I have had the opportunity to, I like having deck creators come on and talk about their work.
Hmm.
That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. This
Thank
has been
you.
so much fun.
Thank you for
Everybody, oh well, God, of course. So,
having.
and you notice when we got together before the live a couple of Thursdays ago,
Hmm.
I immediately took the opportunity to go, Celina, when can I have you on?
You did
So,
right away. You did, and
so yes,
it's been fun. It's been I love these types of connections that we make, and even
yes,
if it's done via, the live screen TV here, it's still a connection, and uh, to me, it's very important to be part of a community. So,
yes, I agree. All right, we will say farewell, everyone. Have a wonderful
yes,
rest of your day.
thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.